Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video I want to talk about why I like exploring in HiSec. So let's start with the ISK because I think it's pretty important and it's not so bad. The combat sites hidden behind the signatures in HiSec can give some of the best loot you can find in HiSec. The 3 and 4 out of 10 sites have a good chance to drop faction equipment and blueprint copies for faction frigates and cruisers. While the income is not as constant as mining, a lucky drop can yield you more than 100 million ISK, for instance. You can have bad days where you find almost nothing of value, but in general, exploration is one of the best ways to make ISK in HiSec from my experience. You can also plan your own sessions. I don't think you can effectively explore in 10 minutes because you need to do some flying and scanning in order to find anything of value, but from half an hour on it's possible to explore a small route of 4 to 5 systems, and you can extend that to a large route that covers most of a region, for instance. A recent change has also helped a lot because now your scan results will maintain even if you dock or jump to another system. This makes subsequent rounds more effective as you only need to scan down new signatures. So we have an activity that can be done in small amounts of time or for longer sessions depending on your own schedule. Next up is the accessibility. Like many other activities in EVE, the best ships for HiSec exploration are Tech 2 and Fraction cruisers. This means it's a lot easier to skill up for exploration and that the cost of the ships is a lot lower as well. On top of that, with a bit of patience and skill, the combat sites are doable in Tech 1 cruisers and destroyers or even in some faction frigates. So you can get started very quickly after you start playing EVE Online and then upgrade your abilities by learning skills and getting into better ships. It's also a very diverse activity. The Serpentis sites, for instance, I find to be the easiest because the rats start 30 to 40 kilometers out and need to get in close to do a lot of their damage. This means you can focus on your damage and only maintain a small emergency tank. This is also needed because both the battleship in the 4 out of 10 site and the final station in the 3 out of 10 site have a lot of HP to get through. The Sancha sites, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. The final targets are frigates and cruisers, pretty easy to take out, but with their lasers the general rats will be more difficult to kite and a stronger focus on tank is needed for those sites. This means that you can try different ships, and by trying to find your favorite and most effective ship for the different sites, this will help you to get the difference between shields and armor tanks and the different weapon systems in EVE Online. For me, a sentry drone Ishtar is my favorite ship to run the Serpentis site, but it takes a Cerberus for the Sancha sites, for instance. I've yet to spend any real amount of time in sites of the other factions, but I definitely plan to do so when I'll build up a base of operations in Minmatar and Kaldari space. Something that can be both good and bad is that exploration in high security space is a solo activity. For a gamer like me who likes to do stuff solo and wants to remain as independent as possible, this is perfect, but if you're looking for a more social experience, you can get a bit frustrated with the activity, because all contact with other players will be in the form of a race for the loot and sometimes even outright theft of your hard-earned loot. For me, it's a major part as to why I enjoy exploration, and I find it very rewarding to master the combat sites and to find the perfect exploration ship for the job at hand. Exploration is also the gateway to many other activities in EVE Online. While I focus almost exclusively on combat sites from the relative safety of HiSec, you'll get into contact with wormholes almost right away, where it can be very rewarding to hunt for relic and data sites. And if you're feeling confident in your abilities, you can start exploring in low-sec, null-sec and wormhole space, where there's always a cloaky Proteus right next to you, but where the rewards can be far greater than HiSec as well. You can also combine exploration very well with the relatively new agency events, which are mostly centered around combat sites that you find on the overview, and combat anomalies like refuges that can escalate to some very rewarding activities as well. I do think there is room for improvement, especially when it comes to the relic and data sites, but because these can be run in super cheap frigates, the sites themselves can't become more rewarding. Perhaps they could escalate from time to time to relic and data sites with higher rewards, but with a combat element that falls somewhere between the current sites and the extremely difficult sleeper caches. Still, exploration in EVE Online is my favorite activity and has been one of my best income sources to fund other activities, and I look forward to learning and mastering the sites of other pirate factions. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.